They haven't played a game in 9 days. It'll be interesting to see how they are early on here. But Colorado and Tampa, boy, what a couple of nights we got. Stanley Cup Game 1 tonight, NBA Finals Game 6 tomorrow night. Hopefully, the Celtics can force that to a Game 7, just because then my prediction would be accurate. The Warriors in 7, which is what I had at the beginning of the series. But it is certainly a great time in sports right now. A lot on the docket. Here's what the show looks like coming up this evening. Coming up in about a half an hour, Florida Gator fans, Seatric Faison, former terrific running back at the University of Florida, one of the best high school football players Northeast Florida has ever seen out at Fletcher. He is now the head coach of his alma mater, the Fletcher Senators. We will talk a little high school ball with Seatric Faison. We're also going to talk about the Florida Gators, about Billy Napier, about Seatric's thoughts on everything going on down there in Gainesville with that football program. So Seatric Faison coming up in about 35 minutes. Coming up at 9:15, Mia O'Brien of XL Primetime. She was out at minicamp today. We will go over what has been an interesting week. Rookies, injured veterans, but you get a chance to talk to guys. She had a chance to talk to James Robinson today. You've heard a Jamal Agnew interview on our radio station, courtesy of Hayes Carline. Those are the two big ones coming off injuries now that we believe Travis Etienne to be healthy. So what about James Robinson? What about Jamal Agnew and their status as training camp approaches? We'll have Mia O'Brien on at 9:15. And at 9:35 tonight, our NFC North preview continues. We've already been to Detroit. Last night, we were in Minneapolis. Tomorrow night, we will be in Green Bay, thus meaning tonight we go to the Windy City. Chicago, Illinois, Patrick Finley, the Chicago Sun-Times. It looks like full rebuild mode in Chicago for the Bears. But what about Justin Fields? Coming into year number 2, we will preview the Bears and look back on their offseason coming up in just a little bit. Every night here on Hacker After Dark, we give you the big deal of the night. It's kind of our opening kickoff here on the program. And Denmark, let's do it right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
So this goes back to last night. And last night we let off the show with Bruce Smith, his comments on Instagram about Tony Boselli in the Hall of Fame. And I think I ripped Bruce Smith enough. I think we as a city ripped Bruce Smith enough. I think I saw earlier where Bruce Smith had either taken down his Instagram or had, paused it or whatever because he was getting inundated with Jaguar fan. And I don't blame you guys. I think Emmitt Smith is full of it. And how you announce Tony Boselli's Hall of Fame credentials on NFL Honors Night in February on that stage, and how you completely reverse course 4 months later and basically rip Boselli on Instagram yesterday morning. Again, complete nonsense by Bruce Smith. Verifies everything I had pretty much heard about him from former players, coaches, and NFL staff that I've talked to over the last 20 years. And Bruce Smith is not on my good list right now. But it got me thinking last night. And we did a little of this in the opening segment, did not expand on it. Everybody that is a sports fan has a handful of people. Some of us might have 1 or 2, some of us 3 or 4, or some of us might have 5+ that have caused us a great deal of pain, have caused us a great deal of anguish in the sports world, and that, quite frankly, we just would not invite over to our house for Sunday dinner. And my question to you, Jaguar fan, here in the city of Jacksonville, I put it up on Twitter earlier today. You're welcome to vote on it, at Ryan Green 1010XL. Who is number 1 on the Jaguar fans' most disliked list? Who do Jaguar fans have the biggest problem with of anybody, past, present, in the National Football League? 4 options I put up there were Hugh Douglas, Jeff Fisher, Bruce Smith, in light of yesterday, and Urban Meyer. But I did put the caveat that you're more than welcome to add your comments if you had another nominee. And it was interesting, and it's something that I didn't think about. Do you realize that if you're 20, heck, basically, if you're 30 and under as a Jaguar fan, do you know who Woody Page is? If you're 30 and under as a Jaguar fan, do you know why Jaguar fans that are older than you don't like Jeff Fisher? You know, you kind of look at that calendar, and it's 2022. I had a lot of people add Woody Page to the comment section as the most disliked person among Jaguar fans. And I agree. I think Woody Page is a clown. Although, it is interesting as I've gotten older, I've actually talked to him on a number of occasions, both on the phone and via direct message on Twitter. At least in the conversations I've had, which are probably between 5 and 10 over the last 20 plus years, kind of a decent guy to me at least. I'll tell you a funny Woody Page story here in a second. But I had a lot of people put Woody Page as the most disliked. But then I got to thinking, Denmark, the pride of Denmark, your producer every night here on Hacker After Dark. Denmark, you're running and ripping every night. You're 24 years old, right?
See.
You're right in the thick of it in your youth.
That's correct.
You were not alive when Woody Page made the Jaguar comment in January of 1997.
No, I was not.
Which is just interesting. I mean, you were 1 year old when Jeff Fisher made the comment that Jacksonville is the Titans' third home field.
He said that?
He did say that after they beat him 3 times in the 99 season. So that's what I'm talking about. You know, 20, 25, 30-year-old Jaguar fan, maybe you don't appreciate the distaste for Woody Page and for Jeff Fisher like fans older than you. Hugh Douglas, kind of the same thing, right? Hugh Douglas hasn't been here in 19 years. Yet Jaguar fans cannot stand Hugh Douglas. Really quick, before we get off the Woody Page topic, here's a great story. So the media mock draft that Mike Dempsey does every year, this was back in 2003, I think, when we started that thing. Might have been 2004, but it was a long, long time ago. We got a hold of Woody Page's phone number. One of our friends in the business had his phone number. So Tony Smith, who you hear every day with Mike Dempsey on Jaguars Today, here on 1010XL, he was helping me book the media mock draft in April of 2004. He calls Woody Page. And I guess Tony, we were both like 19, 20 years old at the time. I guess Tony's somewhere in the midst of the conversation. At least Woody Page says that Tony referred to him as dude. And Woody Page is like, tell that guy to stop calling me dude. This is Woody Page talking. But the more interesting thing about that is Woody Page literally told us, this is a one-time only phone number. You dial it, you use it once, you don't ever use it again. That's back when I thought Woody Page was just an awful human being. But as the years have gone by, like I said, I've become more cordial with him. Back to the point. The topic was the most disliked person by Jaguar fans. I got a lot of Woody Pages. I got a lot of Jeff Fishers. Here's how the poll looks. Only 6% of the 450 people that have voted say Bruce Smith is now the most disliked. Only 8% say it's Hugh Douglas. 41% still say Jeff Fisher. But the winner right now at 45%, Urban Meyer. Did Urban Meyer cause more damage in 1 year to the Jaguar fan base than Jeff Fisher did? Than Hugh Douglas did? Than Woody Page did? I don't know. I'm just kind of surprised that Urban is leading this thing right now.
That's, in journalism, we call that recency bias.
Yeah, I know. No, you're right. But my thought about it was, and we've had this talk, I would think if you're a Jaguar and a Gator fan, again, the Jagators, as the shirt read in the late 90s, I still have it somewhere in my attic. the fiercest animal on earth. I would think what Urban did at Florida might cancel out the awfulness he did here in Jacksonville. But apparently not. Feel free to vote on the poll at Ryan Green 1010XL. Again, Hugh Douglas, Jeff Fisher, Bruce Smith, Urban Meyer. I did not have room to put Aaron Ross. Remember him? Aaron Ross, whose wife was an Olympian. Good for her. Aaron Ross leaves Jacksonville and said it was a paid vacation. Good grief. In the time he was here. Denmark, you mentioned Jalen Ramsey last night. I think it's fair to have him in the conversation. I don't think he's more disliked than the guys we've mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, everybody in their 20s, like, despises Jalen Ramsey. Like, of my friend group.
Yeah, and that
like, they see him playing for the Rams, they're like, bump him.
And that would be an age thing, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, is Urban Meyer, and again, 450 people is a decent sample size. The poll will remain open for, it looks like, 18 more hours. I only put it up around 4 o'clock this afternoon. But 450 of you guys have voted on this thing. That's a decent sample size. Let's say that Urban, not by much, only by 4 percentage points over Jeff Fisher, is the most despised person among Jaguar fans. 641-1010 is the phone number. If you can't get to Twitter, you can hit us up on the text line. Designed by Lifetime Enclosures, 641-1010. I also want to get into something I saw a little earlier, and we'll do this on the other side. I've been guilty about this in the past, and I think that I've learned my lesson. I'd like to think, I guess, that I've learned my lesson. So that's why I always try to take a step back in the preseason, training camp, and in the months of May and June when it comes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think the local fan base, some of the local media, myself included, absolutely, I am definitely a part of this. I think sometimes when we're looking at Jacksonville, we're too close to the situation. We so desperately want the team to turn the corner. We so desperately want the losing to stop. We so desperately want to be fans or to be covering in the media a winning organization, a winning franchise, that sometimes our opinion of what's going on here in Jacksonville might be a little too positive for what reality actually is. And the reason I say that, I know some of you are big Pro Football Focus people. Analytics, right? All about number crunching, decimal points, all of that. And I'm not saying I'm anti-Pro Football Focus. We have a lot of those guys on. I think they do a good job. I was not a Pro Football Focus guy 4 or 5 years ago. I find myself becoming more and more a PFF guy as the years go on. But they ranked all 32 NFL offensive lines, and they ranked all 32 NFL defensive lines. And the Jaguars were not good in either category coming into 2022. I think based on their analytics, they had the offensive line 26 out of 32. They had the defensive line 28 out of 32. Now, look, I'm talking about a 7-win football team. I'm talking about winning more games this year than they have the previous 2 years combined. We're talking about turning that corner. I still believe they're going to turn that corner. But it will be interesting to see when these preseason magazines come out, these preseason predictions come out from the national guys, the ESPNs, the CBS, the Sports Illustrateds, Pro Football Talk, Pro Football Focus, what the national point of view is on Jacksonville. Because I'll be honest with you, you know I'm going to shoot you straight. There have been years where the national guys have been dead on. And we here in Jacksonville, fans and media alike, have been off going into years. Because again, sometimes we're too close. We don't want to admit that there are obvious flaws. The national guys could care less. They just tell you what they see from afar. And what Pro Football Focus at least sees from afar is the Jaguars have problems on the O-line and the D-line. We'll get into more of that next. Hacker After Dark. It is a Wednesday night. The Stanley Cup, Game 1. They are singing the national anthem in Denver, Colorado. They will be dropping the puck in less than 5 minutes. Jacksonville, we're glad you're with us till 10 o'clock right here on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
I want you to promise me something. I want you to play life just like you played that game today. So when that final buzzer of life goes off, you'll have no regrets.
1010XL.
Are you tired of giving Dad the same old blah, boring gift for Father's Day? Not this year. Shooter's annual Father's Day sales event is here all week, June 13th to the 19th. And Shooters can make Dad's special day, well, special. Forget ties, shirts, socks, and belts. This year, Dad's Day can be exciting, not blah. Gifts from Shooter's annual Father's Day sale let you show Dad the love he deserves, while you save on the things he really wants. So turn into a
Yippee!
You can see the largest selection of top-name firearms and accessories, all at the lowest prices at Shooters all week long. It only comes once a year, a special day for a special guy. Shooters makes it easy to find what Dad wants. Over 7,000 firearms in stock and the greatest accessories you can find anywhere. A Father's Day to remember starts at Shooters at the intersection of University Boulevard and Phillips Highway, and more at shootersjacks.com.
Hacker here for Blue Chew. Guys, it's all about confidence when it's time to have fun, but sometimes stress, a bad day, or even your age can affect your performance. That's when BlueChew.com comes to the rescue. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. Blue Chew tablets are chewable and help men combat all forms of ED. Look, Blue Chew is an online prescription service. No doctor visits, no pharmacy visits, no awkward conversations. Process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll get your prescription in days. Try Blue Chew free when you use promo code HACKER at checkout. Just pay $5 for shipping. Guys, go to BlueChew.com. Enter promo code HACKER. What on earth are you waiting for?
Final wing is ahead of schedule.
Slater's construction company has built a solid reputation.
Yeah, foundation looks great. Let's get a team in place for analysis.
Now they need structural engineers to support their business expansion.
We should have engineers in-house. That would put us ahead of the competition.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Earn up to $500 in sponsored job credits by conducting interviews on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Universal Roof and Contracting.
Protect your roof from hurricanes with a complimentary roof inspection with Universal Roof and Contracting. Get $250 off a roof repair and $500 off a roof replacement project with a free warranty upgrade for first responders and veterans. Plus, no money down, no payments or interest for 1 year. This offer expires June 30th and restrictions apply. License number CCC 1330747, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
Hey, it's Jeff Prosser. Are you feeling the sting of higher interest rates and higher costs? All those credit cards and other loans are costing more and more every month. Inflation making everything else more expensive. But listen, your home can save you right now. Your home value is up, and there's a ton of cash in it that you can access with Loan Pronto. Loan Pronto specializes in zero-cost cash-out home refis. That means you can get tens of thousands in as little as 2 weeks. Pay off all those 23% rate credit cards and other loans. Consolidate everything into one super low payment. People who do this usually cut $800 or more from their monthly budget, and even if your home mortgage rate goes up a point or so, it's offset by your credit card rate going to zero. Call Loan Pronto now. Unlock that equity and wipe out bad debt. Do it now, and you can even skip your next 2 house payments altogether. So call 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
It's time to tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest gifts for dads and grads. Featuring the Ping G425 woods and irons. The G425 woods combine distance and forgiveness, while the irons are engineered for increased ball speed and higher launch. And from Bushnell, the Tour V5 and Tour V5 shift rangefinders inform you precisely how far you are from the pin. Whether you're a dad or grad, get a free custom fitting today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On June 15, 1980, at the U.S. Open, Jack Nicklaus sets new tournament scoring record, 8 under, to win his 4th Open title.
Though no longer little, teens still need a lot of love. Yet teens in foster care have a harder time finding it, as 82% of foster families are home to kids 12 or younger. You can positively impact a teen's life as a foster parent with help from Family Support Services of North Florida. You provide patience, love, and understanding, and Family Support Services will offer specialized training, resources, and a community of support. Take the next step at foster-now.org. That's foster-now.org.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
20 minutes after the 8 o'clock hour. Glad you're with us. Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM. The first real big scoring chance. Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals did go to Colorado. They had a nice little breakaway off a Tampa turnover. Andrei Vasilevsky turned them away. Still scoreless very, very early in Game 1. Colorado is staying in the Tampa zone a lot here. They certainly have, it looks like, the upper hand very early on here in Game number 1. Another big sporting event tomorrow. Big sporting event. And look, I know all day you've had people making predictions and prognostications, and I'm not the golf guy to do that. I'm going to be watching it tomorrow for the theater of the event because, what is it, Denmark? 13 live tour guys, including Dustin Johnson, including Phil Mickelson, Bryson DeChambeau, with Sergio Garcia, amongst others, are going to be playing in the U.S. Open tomorrow. And I am going to be very, very curious, the dynamic, the atmosphere, how all of that comes together in round number 1. How will they be cheered or booed on the opening tee when their names get announced? I mean, Phil Mickelson normally at the U.S. Open is loved. And I am very, very curious the reaction of the golf fan tomorrow. So, yeah, I mean, it's not every day that a brand new tour starts. The PGA Tour suspends 17 PGA Tour golfers. In the very next week, those suspended golfers are playing in the U.S. Open because, of course, the PGA Tour does not run the U.S. Open. So it'll be reality TV at its finest tomorrow, and I cannot wait for everything that goes on with the U.S. Open to beginning tomorrow morning. How about the first tee times? 6:45 a.m. local time. Imagine if you're the 6:45 tee time. What time you got to get up and get to the golf course if you want to get any practice in? I mean, any practice.
The latest, probably 5.
I mean, what time is the sunrise? That's my question. Sunrise can't be much too earlier than 6:30, 6:15.
I don't know, but if you're in the Northeast, doesn't the sun rise a little sooner than it does here?
I don't know, man. 6:45 is 6:45. That is super early. I will not be keeping up with it at 6:45. I can tell you that. I'm going to be more in the 8:30, 9 o'clock range. But certainly we'll have updates here on 1010XL all throughout the next 4 days of the United States Open. Want to get back into the Jaguars in just a little bit, including the all-time disliked list, if you will, from Jaguar fans. We'll do that in one moment. We do have Cedric Faison, the former Florida Gator, running back, the great, and I do mean great, high school football player here locally. He is now the head coach of his alma mater out there at Fletcher High School. He's going to join me inside of 15 minutes from now, probably around 8:35 or so. We'll talk Fletcher, certainly. We're also going to talk about Billy Napier, what's going on down at the University of Florida, how Billy Napier has put more of an emphasis on recruiting this area than maybe Dan Mullen or Jim McElwain were doing during their tenures in Gainesville. 247sports.com came out with this list, and I think they do it every year, but it always makes you wonder a little bit. In fact, the list has changed from last year, and I'll tell you why here in a second. There are 5 active college football coaches that have won national championships, right? You got Nick Saban, you got Kirby Smart, you got Jimbo Fisher, you got Dabo Swinney, and you got Mack Brown. 5 guys that have won the national championship in college football that are still coaching. 3 in the SEC, 2 in the ACC. The list that 24/7 put out is who will be the next first-time national championship head coach. Kirby Smart was probably very high on this list a year ago. Not on the list anymore because Kirby Smart, of course, won his national title last season. So some of the answers are obvious, but when you think about coaches, unbelievably established coaches in the world of college football that have not won national championships, it does open your eyes a little bit. For example, in the Big Ten, James Franklin, Penn State, Jim Harbaugh, Michigan, Ryan Day, Ohio State, all guys that have not won a national title. In the Pac-12, Lincoln Riley is in the Pac-12 now. He has not won a national title. David Shaw at Stanford, another one. You go in to the Big 12. Obviously, Steve Sarkisian, early on in his coaching tenure at Texas, he has not won one. Mike Gundy, of course, Oklahoma State. I'm a man, I'm 40. Well, no, he's like 55 now, and he still hasn't won one. Good coach, but hasn't won one. Mario Cristobal in the ACC. And in the SEC, guys that have not won a national title. Brian Kelly, who's now taken over at LSU. Lane Kiffin. I'm not going to put Billy Napier on that list because he's never been the coach of a Power 5 football team. That won't happen until Labor Day weekend when he takes on Utah. That's another one. Kyle Whittingham has never won a national title. So you got a lot of choices. You got a lot of options. But it goes to show you just how many really, really good college football head coaches have not won a national championship, despite their unbelievable resumes. Denmark, you and I were talking before the show. I think Lincoln Riley is the easy answer, but then again, he is a first-year head coach. He's got to install his program philosophies. It's a brand new staff. He's working with these players, most of them for the very first time. I don't know how that's going to work. You think of Ryan Day at Ohio State. He's got arguably the best quarterback in the country in C.J. Stroud on his roster this year. Let me summarize this by asking you this question. In 2022, will we have another first-year national championship college football coach?
No. That's a no.
So you think it's going to be Nick Saban or Kirby?
Yeah, they have the best offensive player, the best defensive player, and they got the best players coming out of the transfer portal.
If it were to be a first-year coach, it's either Ryan Day or Lincoln Riley?
Yeah, and I think it'll be Ryan Day if I had to bet on it, if it's this year or next year. I was just thinking about this when you were talking about it. I feel like Ohio State's overdue for a national championship. I mean, they won one in 2002, and then they won only one national title. It's crazy to think that Urban Meyer only lost 9 games in his tenure and only won one national title. But, I mean, if you look since the last couple of decades, they've only won those 2, one in 2002 and 14. So,
well, the problem Ohio State has, and the problem Ohio State will always have, and if it means I'm an SEC homer, so be it, is they're going to run into an SEC team in the national title game or in the 4-team playoff. And more times than not, I understand not always, but more times than not, that has not worked out well for Ohio State. Whether they run into Alabama, they run into Georgia, they run into LSU, whomever, more times than not, the SEC team has had the upper hand on them. And then you got to wonder, the 3 Florida coaches, the big 3, and you know what? UCF beat the Gators, so I'll throw Gus Malzahn in there Malzahn also has not won a title. When you talk about Malzahn, Cristobal, Napier, and Norvell, it's tough because Cristobal's entering year number 1. Napier's entering year number 1. Malzahn's not in a Power 5 conference as of yet. And Mike Norvell has not gone to a bowl game in 2 years there at Florida State. So I think we are a considerable time away from finding out who's going to win the first national title in the state of Florida, Denmark, and it might be a very considerable amount of time.
Yeah, I think Ohio State has the best chance, and that the best chance would be for them to be either 2 or 3 seeds, so they avoid playing Bama in that playoff game. And then, you hope for the ball to roll your way a couple of times if you make that national title game.
Oh, we'll see. But again, only 5. What are there, 130 Division I coaches?
Yeah,
only
like
5 have won a national championship. Jimbo Fisher, Nick Saban, Mac Brown, Dabo Swinney, and, of course, Kirby Smart. We will see if anybody gets added to that list. Kirby got over the hump last year. Will we see it again this year? That's the beauty of it. That's, again, why college football is great. We're going to have to wait a long time to find that out. 641-1010 is the phone number if you want to get involved on Hacker After Dark on the phone line or on the text line. You are absolutely more than welcome to do so. I mentioned before the break, the Pro Football Focus boys don't seem to be very high on the Jaguars coming into 2022. Although the general consensus that I've seen from the websites like Pro Football Focus, from the websites like Pro Football Talk, Denmark, give me a breaking news sounder here in a second, is that Trevor Lawrence is going to be the best second-year quarterback of the crop that was drafted last year. More on that in one moment.
This just in on Hacker After Dark.
Now it appears the Colorado Avalanche have scored. Andre Vasilevsky stopped the initial shot. Rebound comes out. Colorado punches it in. I don't even know why Tampa Bay even bothers to play game 1. And I'm serious. Remember, Toronto beat them like 5-0 in game 1. The Rangers beat them 6-2 in game 1. Whatever it is about Tampa in game 1, they should just forfeit and just move right on to game 2 because they have been awful in game 1s this postseason. Avalanche up 1-0, and I am in a glass case of emotion right now. But back to the Jaguars. If anything's going to cheer me up, it's talking about the Jaguars and their prospects for the 2022 football season. Nationally, you may hate on the offensive line. You may hate on the defensive line. Jaguars got problems. But the general consensus is when you compare Trevor Lawrence to his counterparts in his same draft class, that, of course, is Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, and Mac Jones. I've seen a lot of people expect Trevor to have the best year of any of those 2021 quarterback draft picks from that draft class. I agree with that. I think Trevor will have the best year of those. Now, that's not a high standard. If he's not as good as Zach Wilson, that's an enormous problem. If he's not as good as Trey Lance, that's a problem. And certainly if he's not as good as Justin Fields, that's a problem. Mac Jones, there's more of a conversation there because Mac had a pretty good rookie season, struggled down the stretch a little bit. But the more people nationally that you see hating on a lot of the Jaguar roster, those same people, those same publications are the ones that seem to like Trevor Lawrence's prospects coming in to 2022. We shall see. 641-1010 is the phone number. Hacker After Dark rolls on a Wednesday night. Stanley Cup Finals Game 1, Colorado with an early 1-0 lead. Coming up next, former Florida Gator, Seatric Faison, current head coach at Fletcher High School. We'll talk high school ball. We'll talk Gator ball with C4. That's next on Hacker After Dark.
Florida Sunshine and Jack Sports Radio.
Spicy. 4-alarm fire in the boudoir.
Summer's a great time for 1010XL.
It's summertime and the beach is calling your name. Chris here with Sliders Oyster Bar in Neptune Beach. I want to invite you all to our newly renovated family-owned restaurant that I guarantee you will only be served the freshest seafood in Jacksonville. My family and I wanted to see that our beaches community only gets the best, so we built you the best. Tons more seating, upgraded kitchen, fully stocked bar, and of course, fresh oysters. Come see us at Sliders Oyster Bar in Neptune Beach, locally owned and operated by Safe Harbor Seafood.
You don't get to be the league's all-time leading rusher without feeling some pain.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith knows joint pain, and he also knows the old treatments aren't the only treatments. Today, there's a natural alternative to drugs and surgery. It's biologic therapies from QC Kinetics.
I'm talking regenerative solutions that encourage your body to heal and repair itself.
Do you have pain in your hips, knees, shoulder, lower back? Want to get your life back? The local medical professionals at QC Kinetics can help.
Call to learn more about this exciting natural way to deal with chronic joint pain.
Don't put it off. Call QC Kinetics. Restorative, regenerative solutions with no downtime and lasting results.
Don't let your joint pain keep you from doing the things you love. There's a new natural solution that patients are raving about.
QC Kinetics.
Make the call to QC Kinetics. Tell them Emmitt Smith sent you.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. QC Kinetics, 274-5522.
For the month of June, Zero Res has some great discounts on furniture cleaning. Hicken here, how about $35 off a sectional, $25 off the sofa, $20 off a love seat, and $10 off your favorite recliner. Zero Res, man, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Hi, this is Travis Cummings of the Bailey Group, and I specialize in working with medium and large companies to ensure their employees get the best benefits possible.
This is John Gall from Borland Groover, and our job is to provide exceptional care for our patients, and Travis Cummings from the Bailey Group has the same goal, to provide exceptional benefits and coverage for everyone at Borland Group.
Businesses on the First Coast. Call me, Travis Cummings, at 461-1800, and I'll make sure your employees are well taken care of.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey. Obviously, the summer temperatures are already here, and if you're like me, you want that oppressive Florida heat to stay outside the house. That's why I'm such a fan of Pella Windows and Doors. By now, we know that windows are the #1 way that heat gets in and the cold gets out. So when you're ready for the stylish design and energy efficiency that comes from Pella Windows and Doors, we invite you to visit their showroom on Phillips Highway next to Tesla, or find them online at PellaJacks.com.
Time now for a medical recap. A health and wellness tip from Jaguars head team physician, Dr. Kevin Kaplan.
Strength and resistance training are some of the best forms of exercise you can do to strengthen your muscles and improve your body composition. It may also lead to important improvements in metabolic health, meaning your blood sugar levels are easier to manage, and it also increases how many calories you burn at rest. The Physical Activity Guidelines for Americans recommends resistance training twice per week in addition to cardio training. Let's get fit, Jacksonville.
There's a world of difference between and that's why you can trust Famous Automotive and Tire when it comes to your vehicle's care. Because there's a difference between and. It all starts with the triangle of safety: your tires, brakes, and the front end. Take care of those 3 points and your car will take good care of you. Start at Famous Automotive and Tires. 7 locations servicing every customer like they're famous.
When choosing the right septic tank installation company, choose wisely. Duck Duck Rooter is the only master septic contractor in Northeast Florida. They're fully licensed and insured. From installing septic tanks, dosing tanks, drain fields, to getting required permits, you want the best in the business. Trust your septic project to Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
Are you looking for increased privacy and protection for your family and pets? Look no further than Superior Fence and Rail. Superior Fence and Rail is Jacksonville's top-rated fence company, delivering the highest quality fence products. They'll treat your property as if it's their own. So get off the fence and get your privacy back. Call Superior Fence and Rail today for your on-site estimate.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
When you hear Honda, you think safety, quality, value. Now think fuel economy. Don't settle for anything but the best. We invite you to compare Honda to all other brands. Remember, only a Honda is a Honda. Visit your local Honda dealer. We're dealing.
Share stories over a big bowl of cereal with Big Bo. Breakfast with Baselli, brought to you by Epstein & Robbins DUI defense firm and Fifth Element Adjusting. Breakfast provided by Chick-fil-A. Monday morning on 1010XL. This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. Now.
Yellow.
Another interview on the Farah and Farah phone line. Brought to you by the Accident Attorneys at Farah and Farah. This is Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The middle of June is here. Football workouts all over Northeast Florida as the Friday night lights are approaching. We are just a little over 2 months away from the high school football regular season 2022. With that, let's go out to the beaches. Seatric Faison of Fletcher High School was a star player out there, now is the head coach of his alma mater. He's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Coach, how we doing?
Pretty good. Can't complain. About yourself?
Hey, Coach, we are wonderful. Thank you for the time. Certainly want to get into a lot of things with you, from Billy Napier in Florida to how the offseason has gone. But let's take a brief look back at last year. Last year was odd for you. You got the job so late in the process, Coach. You come in, and all you do is win a district championship your first year as the Fletcher head coach. What do you remember? What are your memories from last year's team?
Last year's team was just a work hard team. And, I remember being at the media day, and I told everybody, it wasn't so much as the out-of-district games that matter. It was all about the district games, because I knew our first couple of weeks was going to be shaky just because how late we got the job. And we had to pretty much use the first couple of weeks as it was an evaluation period for us. So once we figured everything out, we knew what we had, but, it was definitely different. But, that was the grit team, the team that fought. Nobody gave us a chance. So they're going to always be one of the most memorable teams that come through Fletcher High School.
It's interesting, Coach, when you say Fletcher High School, if you're a high school football fan, you are one of the first guys that comes to mind. So you knew the lay of the land out there. You were obviously an established person out there. You had been an assistant out there. But it's different being a head coach. Now that you've had an entire off season this year, how much more prepared do you feel right now than, say, where you were 12 months ago?
Oh, well, we way more prepared. Got to put our own speed program on it as this coaching staff, do our own speed trainings, get to do our own lifts, and we went more of a college style. So everything we do, these kids say they want to get to college, so we're going to treat you like a college. So, being able to just implement our own stuff and work out like college athletes and train like college athletes made it just more special this off season. I always kept telling people, this off season was going to be special for us. If we won district with just having no off season, imagine what we could do with a whole year under our belt.
And people tend to forget, Seatric Faison here at Fletcher, people tend to forget that great run that Nice made last year. Nice had to go on the road and do that in the playoffs because you were the district champion. That Fletcher-Nice game, one of the best games of the year last year. What did you learn about your team and your underclassmen in a game like that you can take with you into this season?
One thing we know, we could fight. And we could look past the name on the jersey of our opponent, and we could also look past the other team's record. You just step on the game. It's one game at a time, and anything can happen in football as long as you're prepared and keep fighting. And that's what my boys showed me. And it's crazy. We lost like 28 seniors or something like that, but majority of our team was underclassmen that played, and a lot of them were 2024s, and they're all back and all motivated, and they know, we're going through the Nice game and a couple of them tough games that they're prepared for anything going forward.
Fletcher is a team that has to replace good players every year. You had a number of D1 prospects last year that have moved on. How has the process been this offseason in getting your sophomores and your juniors ready to now lead this team in 2022?
It's been great. It's crazy. I honestly got like 10 10 rising seniors or something like that, and 8 of them have the Division I, Division II offers already. And this week is a big week for us. We got a lot of commitments going out this week, at least 4 or 5. And then our 2024 quarterback is also committing on Friday. So, you know, it's big. And when our younger boys see that they're committed and see that they have colleges looking at them, it makes everybody else work that much harder. So especially young group. So I think it's very special what's going on down here. And you know, our guys just stay working.
Ciatric Faison of Fletcher here with us on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Coach, how much do your players and even their parents talk to you? Because you did this. You went through the recruiting process. You were recruited by every big school in the country. Now, you committed to Florida, I want to say your junior year, and you stuck with that all the way through. But how much guidance do you give your players on the recruiting process?
I give them the truth. You know, I talk to the parents. And I tell them the truth, you know, even with my 2024 quarterback that's about to make his decision on Friday. You know, it's the truth. And I told him, hey, I committed when I was a junior. You can do the same thing. And if that's your fit, that's your fit. And I always tell these kids and tell the parents about fit. It's not the name of the school. A lot of people want to jump out there for the bigger school. Just because it's the bigger school don't mean that it's your fit. It don't mean that you're going to get on the field right away. It don't mean you could blend in with that type of atmosphere. The atmosphere might be too big for you. So with my parents, man, and my students, is always fit. And the good thing about being down here is these people, the parents I have, they listen to me. You know, being able to play at the University of Florida and going on to the NFL, you know, it speaks volumes and they listen to me. So that's always a blessing when the parents believe in everything the coach has to say and you know, mentor their kids on.
Coach, you're one of the first Duval County public school coaches I've talked to this offseason as we get ready for 2022. What an offseason because of the FHSAA and the ruling that we're now metro and suburban. You know, we talk about the Nice game last year and how great a district game that was. Well, now that cannot happen because Nice is in St. Johns County, a suburban county. You're in, obviously, the Beaches area, which is a Duval County. From a Duval County point of view, do you like the metro suburban deal? I mean, what's your thought on that?
No, I think it goes two ways. You know, it's kind of crazy. I think the smaller schools kind of get the bad end of it. You know, schools that's normally 3 and 4A are now in the same district as teams that might be 7 or 8A. And you know, that's kind of a bad year on their part. And you know, it's hard to get games because now people that's worried about trying to get in the playoffs and worried about their district, they're not so much on trying to play a 7A school or 8A school if they don't have to. So I think that's the bad end of it. You know, sometimes it's good if you're that team that's considered to be a powerhouse or something, and it might give you an easier road to the playoffs or something, just because your district is not as tough as it normally would be. So, you know, but at the end of the day, I think it kind of hurts because it's all about you're going to get your district schedule, but it sucks for teams that's the bigger schools that struggle on getting their out-of-conference schedule.
Couple of more for Fletcher High School head coach Ciatric Faison. He's with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Being Metro, Duval County is kind of the outlier, Coach. If you make the state playoffs, which is certainly the expectation with a program like Fletcher, I mean, you're talking Orlando, Tampa, maybe even Miami before you get to the state title game. I mean, that's tough being the outlier up here, is it not?
Yes, definitely. You definitely gonna have to go through that gauntlet. It's crazy, and you know what you like when you look at it. Like if you say us, or First Coast, Terry Parker, Inglewood win our district, and you see who the next team you got to play, you're going to play somebody tough in Orlando. And the following week is all the way in Miami. Like so, it's definitely tough, but you just got to prepare your team for what's coming. And that's the only thing I could do for my boys and myself is prepare my team for whoever we face.
Now, Ciatric, again, a great player out at Fletcher. He's now the head coach of the Fletcher Senators. Of course, in the middle of that, you had a little bit of time at the University of Florida, a terrific running back with almost 1,300 yards your junior year down in Gainesville. And Ciatric, your alma mater's got a brand new head coach, and Billy Napier. a brand new staff, including guys like Mike Peterson, former players that have come back. What's been your thought on what they've done in Gainesville these last few months?
Man, they did a amazing job. You know, I went to a coach's clinic. I done been up there more times in the past 6 months than I went when the last few coaches since I left school was there. And, you know, it's an amazing atmosphere, the way we practice, the way we move. You know, and I was telling guys, man, I haven't seen our team practice like that since Maya's first year. And just the way the atmosphere, bringing the old players back and having guys like Mike P on staff. He started a group yesterday. We were wanting to bring all the old players back, and it was all running backs. And, you know, E.G. Green, Terry Jackson, Fred T, all the great players on the text that came through there. So, you know, it's a way to get us back in touch with each other. But also they asking us to come back and show our face to the programming. And that's always the major thing when trying to get athletes in and trying to get athletes to know what being a Florida Gator is all about.
Seatric, not to put words in your mouth, but you piqued my interest. Did McElwain and Mullen kind of drop the ball on that, getting the former players involved, and Napier is kind of picking the torch up and maybe doing what Muschamp used to do?
Well, I would say Muschamp dropped the ball, but I won't say so much as Mullen dropped the ball. He reached out to certain players, but didn't reach out to all players. And Napier's doing a great job by reaching out to all players. So, and that's the good thing about Billy Napier. You know, he don't care if you was a third string running back. They reaching out to you to get you back involved. And I think that's the difference between him and the other ones. Muschamp didn't ask for us to come back at all, pretty much. But Mullen did a little bit, but Napier's doing a great job of it. So.
Final moments here with Seatric Faison. You know, it looks like from an outside point of view, Napier has put an emphasis on Jacksonville. I mean, they came and got Jack Pyburn from Bowles last year. They're obviously very involved with Trayon Webb, who's yet to make his commitment at Trinity. Grayson, the linebacker out of Jackson, Florida's certainly involved there. Have you noticed that the Gators are putting more emphasis on Duval County and the surrounding area?
Definitely, you have to. I mean, we're in the backyard. We're an hour and a half away. And that's been, I think, since Meyer left, one of our downfalls is we haven't been coming. They haven't been coming to Jacksonville trying to get the players. I mean, all our players been going out of state when most of the kids grew up either a Florida State fan or a Gator. So if you got that in your backyard, you got to attack it. And he's definitely doing a great job of it. And just staying in Florida in general, but definitely in Jacksonville.
Hey, Seatric, final thought. I know you're in the middle of workouts. We're going to let you get back and lead your guys here in one moment. But obviously you, right, you're a great player at Fletcher, a terrific player at Fletcher, Tebow at Nice. Florida used to come in here in Northeast Florida and get the top talent. But that had gone away. I mean, it's been a long time since the highest-rated players in our area went to the Gators. Why do you think that was the case?
I think because people, I really want to say coaches don't evaluate the same. You know, if they hear somebody got offered by this, they go offer them instead of going to see really what the talent level like. Back when me, Tebow, Lito Shepherd, Jabbar Gaffney, Tukes, and all Reggie Lewis and D. Webb, back when we was all in school, you was going to see what you was trying to sign, not just going off of this guy was a 4 or 5 star or this guy was offered by this school. People was really evaluating, and I think that's been the main problem. We haven't been coming here and really evaluating and watching and looking at that tape. We'd be going off of you know, these recruiting services, but you got to go look at that tape and see what type of guy you're signing, and even go see him in person.
Seatric Faison, the head coach of the Fletcher Senators, of course, a former Florida Gator and a former terrific player at Fletcher High School. Seatric, thank you for the time, man. Know you're busy. I have no doubt we'll be talking to you under the Friday Night Lights many, many times this year. Best of luck. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
There you go, C4. Always enjoy catching up with Seatric Faison, doing a terrific job at his alma mater. And people seem to forget how good he was. Man, his junior year at Florida, almost 1,300 yards. I think it was 1,267. That's 6th all-time as the best single-season rushing mark in Florida Gator history. We are at halftime on Hacker After Dark. 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. I will tell you, Stanley Cup Finals game number 1, Colorado got out to a 2-0 lead. Tampa Bay has cut that lead in half. It is 2-1 Avalanche, although Colorado now has a 5-on-3 because the referees are just horrendously bad in this game. So Tampa trying to fend off a 5-on-3. We will certainly keep you updated. Denmark, every night this week on Hacker After Dark, we have a giveaway for a pretty cool event coming to Daly's Place on the 17th.
Yeah, we got a family 4-pack to cheer live at Daly's Place on June 17th, an upbeat traveling cheer squad featuring the top athletes in the country. And I heard, if you're lucky, Hacker can do a toe touch there too.
Caller 4 right now, 641-1010. If you want to go to cheer live down at Daly's Place, be caller 4 right now, and Denmark will hook you up with tickets, 641-1010.
1010XL takes you inside the program director's office with Dan and Jeff.
What are you looking at?
Daddy hit me with the ball.
The Drill.
Jeez, you two, knock it off!
Mornings on 1010XL.
I think you were married or something.
Hacker here for Blue Chew. Guys, it's all about confidence when it's time to have fun. Sometimes stress, a bad day, look, even your age can affect performance. BlueChew.com to the rescue. Here's what Blue Chew is. It's a unique online service. They deliver the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but they're in chewable form, and they cost a fraction of what the other guys do. Blue Chew tablets are chewable and help men combat all forms of ED. Blue Chew is an online prescription service, which I love. There's no trips to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and you don't even have to wait in line at any pharmacy. That's because after you sign up at BlueChew.com and you consult with one of their licensed medical providers and get approved, you'll get your prescriptions in just days sent directly to your house. Try Blue Chew free when you use promo code HACKER at checkout. Just pay $5 for shipping. Guys, trust me. Go to BlueChew.com. Enter promo code HACKER to get your first month free with Blue Chew.
5X480. Dayton B100 V-Belt, one of the many parts Grainger carries. It's also the item that helped Rob carry the day. The job was on hold, deadline fast approaching, but a quick search on Grainger.com and Rob found his part. And with same-day pickup at his local branch, he and his crew got the job done, safely and on time. Get supplies and solutions for every industry with real-time product availability. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
WJXL-FM, Jacksonville Beach.
Jim Gaffigan Live in the Fun Tour.
When you have kids, you lie to them all the time. You're like, you wouldn't like this ice cream. It's very spicy.
September 8th, 9th, and 10th at the Florida Theater. Tickets are on sale now at floridatheater.com.
Do you have glaucoma or high eye pressure? Dr. Rajesh Shetty of Florida Eye Specialists, alongside the East Coast Institute for Research, is conducting a clinical research study for subjects with glaucoma or high eye pressure. Qualified study participants will receive study-related eye exams at no cost and investigational medication over the course of about 12 months. Study participants may also be compensated up to $150 per visit for approximately 12 visits. If you're between 18 and 84 years old with glaucoma or high eye pressure, visit eastcoastresearch.net for more details. That's eastcoastresearch.net.
Hey, Rural Pest Services here. Have mercy, the heat and afternoon thunderstorms are here. With that, we get the skeeters, or for the transplants, mosquitoes. At Royal, we offer a monthly, bi-weekly, or one-time mosquito suppression service. The treatment process offers up to a 95% knockdown on all mosquito activity. So let Royal help you enjoy that backyard oasis this summer. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free estimate.
Leon Serza here for QC Kinetics. We're in the most active season of the year right now. But if you have joint pain that you can't live with like you want to, hip pain, knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, sucks the fun out of living. But I've got fantastic news. QC Kinetics is helping people. Here, get their fun back with advanced regenerative treatments for local medical professionals. Regenerative medicine is the hottest thing going right now. It's basically taking growth factors with healing properties from your own body, highly concentrated, then putting them into your aching joints. This exciting in-office non-surgical treatment can repair and restore damaged tissues in your joints, giving you real lasting relief for pain. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in the cutting-edge, all-natural options, and the patient satisfaction reports are incredible. Stop putting it off. Call QC Kinetics now to learn more about the regenerative medicine and get a totally free in-office consultation. Call 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522.
This is Brandon with North Florida Epoxy Floors. Our product gives you a custom high-quality appearance and the longest-lasting finish at a more affordable price. So for your garage, home, or business, research the difference between 100% solids epoxy and the products like polyurea, which can be kinda fishy. Our epoxy includes a moisture vapor barrier, essential in Florida, so your North Florida epoxy floor looks great and is warranted with no fine print. Get a free estimate at northfloridaepoxyfloors.com.
You know what's great about getting older? The toys are way cooler. Spring is here, and it's playtime. Yeah! And One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union, has slash loan rates across the board on all the toys. Motorcycles, jet skis, boats, RVs, ATVs, even golf carts. And it's fun and potentially dangerous. One-to-One Financial is the perfect loan to help you finance it. Check out our rock bottom rates and apply now at one-to-onefcu.org. Come out and play. Federally insured by NCUA.
Experience the fun of fantasy golf during the U.S. Open.
For the lead! Yes, indeed!
Win a family barbecue feast from Woody's Barbecue. Brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors. Go to 1010XL.com now. This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. After Dark on 1010XL.
9 o'clock hour is here. Glad you're with us. Wednesday edition of Hacker After Dark. 1010XL 92.5 FM. This on the text line. They did not include their name, Denmark, but we always love when they do include their name.
What's your name?
Exactly. We want a little banter, a little back and forth on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. So I got this. There is no way, Hacker, do you have this good taste in music. I say this because, they're talking about the bump music we're coming back with. I say this because I've heard you talk about Celine Dion and Shinedown for years. So there's no way you would have such good taste, I wouldn't think. LOL, no offense. First off, there is absolutely nothing wrong with Celine Dion. Secondly, Shinedown is a local band that I love, and they were a prominent fixture on my wedding playlist that I had back in 2015. Big fan of Shinedown, big fan of Celine Dion. But yes, no, I'm not playing the bump music. That is all Denmark. Denmark is young. Denmark is hip. To me, look, I would come back with classic rock and Tracy Lawrence and Brooks and Dunn and Travis Tritt.
Yeah, there was no way you knew that song I just played coming back from break, did you?
No, what was it?
Jack Harlow?
Stimulating piece of music, absolutely. I have no idea who Jack Harlow is, but he sounds great.
That's tough.
Sounds great. I enjoy his work immensely. But no, appreciate you listening, appreciate you texting on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. I was thinking in the first hour, to rehash that, 247sports.com gave a list of the next college football coach to win his first national championship. Again, Kirby Smart, Nick Saban, Jimbo Fisher, Mac Brown, Dabo Swinney, the 5 active guys that have national titles to their credit, who will be the next guy to be a first-time national champion. If you go to the National Football League, not necessarily the same, but we've done so many lists this offseason about where does Trevor Lawrence rank, where does the Jaguar running back group or wide receiver group or offensive line group rank among the 16 AFC teams. Just the AFC. We'll just start there. We'll branch out to the entire league, either later on tonight or maybe tomorrow. But that brings me to Doug Peterson. If you were to have a schoolyard pick'em of AFC head coaches, just AFC, where is Doug Peterson on that list? Let's think about this. All right, Bill Belichick, obviously, is in the AFC. You think about the rest of the AFC East with Sean McDermott. He's pretty good. In Buffalo, he's pretty good. We don't know much about Mike McDaniel in Miami. We don't know much about Robert Saleh in New York. But I think clearly Belichick and McDermott are two of the better ones in the conference. You go to the North, Mike Tomlin, absolutely. I don't know what to think of Zach Taylor. Still pretty young. Just took a team to the Super Bowl, but are we convinced Zach Taylor is one of the best coaches in the league? I don't know. You know how good John Harbaugh is. Kevin Stefanski, I think the jury is still out on him. In the AFC West, Andy Reid, obviously, terrific coach, Hall of Fame coach. Nate Hackett, you don't really know, first time as a coach with Denver. Staley in LA, again, you don't really know, but he hasn't been to the playoffs. And Josh McDaniels, a terrific coordinator, but he did fail the only time he was a head coach with Denver about a decade ago. And then, of course, where we are in the South. Lovie Smith, we'll see. Frank Reich, pretty good. Mike Vrabel, pretty good. All in all, the AFC head coaches, some established guys. I mean, you got Belichick's going to be a Hall of Famer. Tomlin is going to be a Hall of Famer. Andy Reid is going to be a Hall of Famer. And John Harbaugh is probably going to be a Hall of Famer. Think about that. And I'm not going out on much of a limb with any of those guys. Bill Belichick, Andy Reid, John Harbaugh, and Mike Tomlin are probably all one day going to be in Canton, Ohio. And they're all head coaches in the American Football Conference. So I don't know where I'd put Doug Peterson. He's got a ring. He's got a Super Bowl. That's got to elevate him pretty high up there. Is he top half of the AFC? Yeah, I think that's probably fair. If we're going to assume that in some order, Belichick, Reid, Tomlin, and Harbaugh are your top four, who would you rather have, Sean McDermott or Doug Peterson? Who would you rather have, Zach Taylor or Doug Peterson? Who would you rather have, Frank Reich, Mike Vrabel, or Doug Peterson? So I don't know. And then if you were to branch out to the NFC, I mean, you got guys that'll probably be in Canton one day, like Pete Carroll. You got guys that are just really starting their careers. Sean McVay's won a Super Bowl, but the guy's still under 40 years of age. Who really knows about Cliff Kingsbury in Arizona? Who really knows about a lot of these guys in the NFC? The NFC head coaches are very similar to the NFC quarterbacks. They're just not as good as their counterparts in the AFC. Why is it the AFC has all these Hall of Fame, future Hall of Fame quarterbacks and future Hall of Fame head coaches? It is an embarrassment of riches in the AFC, and yet the defending Super Bowl champion comes from the NFC in the Los Angeles Rams. 641-1010 is the phone number. The Jaguars have wrapped up minicamp, the offseason, pretty much in the books. Mia O'Brien of XL Primetime was down there all week. She got a chance to talk with James Robinson, got a chance to talk with the likes of Jamal Agnew. What did she see? What did she witness? What did she learn at Jaguar minicamp this week? We'll talk to Mia O'Brien next on Hacker After Dark.
Get more Jaguars coverage from Jacksonville's sports superstation.
Safety's got to grab. There's always a hole if you don't pressure the QB.
1010XL.
Honestly, this is one of the best jobs I've had.
Drivers and mechanics, listen up. Waste Management is now offering a $5,000 new hire bonus to CDL drivers and heavy truck mechanics for job opportunities at our sites in Jacksonville, Green Cove Springs, Callahan, and St. Augustine.
There's so much more to Waste Management than what you think it is.
Waste Management offers steady work, competitive pay, weekly paychecks, opportunities for overtime, paid training, and a generous food and tool allowance.
Plus industry-leading benefits, like 100% tuition coverage for you and your family, and your home every day.
The benefits were great. They're the best. haven't seen in a long time.
CDL drivers and heavy truck mechanics apply online today at WM.com/careers. That's WM.com/careers. Search driver and mechanic jobs in Jacksonville, Green Cove Springs, Callahan, and St. Augustine, Florida.
A people-first, military-friendly, equal opportunity employer.
We are WM.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
Men, when you're in the mood for love, but you have ED or PE and those little blue pills haven't worked, here's a message from Prime Men's Medical Center.
I'm Dr. Rabinski. If Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, Prime Men's Medical Center offers custom blended medications. Men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, and it's affordable.
Call 904-664-8217. We guarantee you'll see results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call 904-664-8217.
For the month of June, Zero Res has some great discounts on furniture cleaning. Hicken here, how about $35 off a sectional, $25 off a sofa, $20 off a love seat, and $10 off your favorite recliner. Zero Res, man, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Are you a military spouse or know a military spouse who may be underemployed, unemployed, or looking to get back into the workforce? Operation New Uniforms Professional Development Training Program is here to help. ONU offers an in-person and virtual classes free of charge for military spouses. Class starts on June 7th and runs through July 14th on Tuesday and Thursday nights. For more information, contact Operation New Uniform at info@onuvets.org.
If you've been involved in a slip and fall accident and are not sure of your legal options, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 and take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
Hey, Scarline here. Did you know every year Griffin Cooling and Plumbing sees thousands of families that wait until their AC is broken to call? Imagine waiting until your car dies before you even think of replacing it. It's not a great experience when your AC stops and it's 95 outside. This year, Griffin wants to offer an AC pre-sale offer. If your system is older and you want to replace it before it breaks, Griffin will offer up to $2,000 off a new system.
Visit griffinservice.com for details. Griffin, the home of the Florida-rated AC.
Mia O'Brien here, and my friends at Arlington Toyota want to know, what drives you? Great service? How about getting more with your purchase? If you answered yes, head on over to Arlington Toyota for the drive of a lifetime. They have over 500 new Toyotas with inventory arriving daily. All purchases come with a lifetime warranty, plus 30 days to love your new purchase or exchange it. What drives you is what they do at Arlington Toyota. Shop in person at 10939 Atlantic Boulevard or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Imagine kicking back with a cocktail and enjoying beautiful views of Riverside, the St. Johns River, and downtown. You can do just that from the rooftop bar at Black Sheep in historic 5 Points. Happy hour is Tuesday through Sunday from 4 to 7 p.m. For all you night owls, enjoy nightcap specials on Friday and Saturday from 10 p.m. to midnight. Snack on some delicious offerings from the bar menu like fried green olives or the famous Black Sheep Burger. Make your next happy hour at Black Sheep.
Hey, this is Ken with Fifth Element Adjusting. Let my team and I ensure your insurance claim is settled properly. We even helped Jeff Prosser get his roof replaced in 2016.
Thank goodness I had Ken Lawler and his team help me navigate the claim process. They did everything for me, filed it, scheduled it, completed it, and established a settlement. I got my damaged property replaced and got back to my life.
So call Fifth Element Adjusting or visit feaclaims.com. If you're happy with the outcome of your claim, Fifth Element Adjusting will not be able to help you. Ken Lawler, DFS number P213199.
The Stadium Tour with Def Leppard, Motley Crue, Poison, and Joan Jett are at TIAA Bank Field Saturday, July 2nd. For your chance to win tickets, text STADIUM to the 1010XL text line covered by Lifetime Flooring at 641-1010.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL. Now,
Yellow.
another interview on the Farah and Farah phone line, brought to you by the accident attorneys at Farah and Farah.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. It is a Wednesday evening, and we are glad you are with us. The Jaguars wrapping up the offseason. Boy, that's hard to believe. Free agency, the draft, OTAs, and now minicamp, all but in the books. They'll take a little over a month off, and then they'll report to training camp around July 21st. Mia O'Brien of XL Primetime has been out at minicamp all week long. She joins us here on Hacker After Dark. Mia, how we doing?
Doing fantastic, sir. Just a little bit sunburnt from that extreme UV rays today, but they kept us cool with a nice 10:15 starting time to today's minicamp, so cannot complain.
Mia, what was your reaction last week when Doug Peterson said, yeah, pretty much every veteran has the mandatory minicamp off. This is just for rookies, injured vets, that sort of thing?
I can tell you this much, Hack. Like, in the moment, was it strange? Yes, it absolutely was. But in conversations with everyone in the building, this truly is the last step before Doug Peterson says, okay, the Urban Meyer era is in the past. The healing, everything else that went into developing a level of trust with the current staff and the current players, what happened before doesn't exist. The level of trust is here. We are here at a baseline. Now we move forward. And so this was another way for him to develop that trust and develop that relationship with his players to say, hey, you guys all showed up at a non-mandatory mini camp back in April, which the Jaguars reportedly had 100%, if not almost 100% attendance for back at the week. It was the 3 days prior to the NFL draft. If everybody showed up for that non-mandatory camp, this is a reward for that. And more or less, from what I've been told, Doug Peterson feels like at this point they're in T-shirt and shorts. What else are they going to do in these 3 days that they haven't done the last few weeks, in which they once again have had near 100% attendance at OTAs? And moreover, without risking injury, because that's essentially all you're doing if you're in a T-shirt and shorts and you're doing the same exact thing over and over again. And yes, reps are great. Respect everybody. Your former co-host, my current co-host on XL Primetime, that keep making the point that reps are critical. But at the same time, we saw CJ Beathard go down last week. Thankfully, he won't miss any time outside of this would have been mandatory minicamp. We saw Jordan Smith go down. Now he's out for the year. What would have happened if they had these 3 mandatory days and someone got hurt? While Doug Peterson says that that's not the reason he did it, if they weren't going to accomplish or move the needle at all, accomplish anything else or move the needle at all these 3 days, then yeah, I absolutely agree with the decision because everyone's been there, unlike in Baltimore or Arizona where guys haven't been reporting to OTAs.
Yeah, I agree with you. You're not going to find out Walker Little versus Jawan Taylor who's going to win that battle in a T-shirt and shorts. And I do wonder, Mia, with CJ Beathard and Jordan Smith, who you mentioned is going to miss the year, with them going down last week, did that have anything to do with Doug Peterson allowing the veterans off this week, or do you think that decision was made prior to those injuries?
Yeah, Doug has said that he made it prior to the injuries, but I think he made that decision in mind, knowing injuries could happen. And it just so happened that he probably had made that decision the weekend before those 2 injuries occurred, and it all but justified it. But he has reiterated that this is not related to the injuries. This has to do with the players earning this, the fact that they've showed up to voluntary workouts, the fact that they are earning the trust of the coaching staff and vice versa. That's the right company line to say. But yeah, I mean, part of it is he wants to protect the players and make them feel like, hey, my boss recognizes my value, recognizes I've been putting in the work, so now I'm being rewarded so that perhaps now the player can go out and perform even more admirably when the actual training camp kicks off in late July.
You hear Mia O'Brien every day on XL Primetime. She's with us here on Hacker After Dark. Mia, you had the opportunity to speak with a couple of veterans coming off of injury this week. We'll get to the James Robinson conversation because I am really interested in his thoughts. But likewise, you talked to Jamal Agnew this week, and I saw your Twitter earlier. Agnew is out there doing some things on the field. How did the conversation with Agnew go, and where is he in the recovery process?
Yeah, it's been really unique. Gotten to know Jamal a lot over the last few months. He really loves living in Jacksonville. He actually has lived in a couple different places throughout town since he arrived last March. He's really gotten to know the city. He wants to know the city. And so in communicating with him over the last few months, you know, I never once questioned that he wouldn't be ready for training camp. I honestly thought he would be full go during the off-season workout program. That clearly hasn't been the case. He didn't start doing position drills with the wide receivers and the return men until last week, the final week of OTAs. He was in attendance at this not so mandatory mini camp all 3 days. But I think and it kind of goes, in the same vein as my conversation with James Robinson, where this training staff is taking its time and they're being patient with those two guys because they recognize, number one, the severity of the injuries they're coming back from, but number two, how important they are to the trajectory of this team. But in terms of Jamal, I tweeted it and I said it on my quick hits driven by Arlington Toyota, which you can check out on all of our social media channels. I don't think I've seen him drop a pass all off season, whether it was when he was working with the coaching staff and the training staff off to the side, whether it's now that he's been in position drills, whether it's in 7-on-7, the dude catches everything. And for a team that had 37 drops last year, you need a guy like that. If anything, if he continues on this path towards a healthy recovery, he's pushing for that 4th, 5th wide receiver spot, which is impressive for a guy that only converted to wide receiver from defensive back a little over 2 years ago. And so he's in really good spirits right now. I think he would have liked to have been on the field with his position group a little bit earlier. But, you need to protect him because he is your number one return man. You're paying him as one of the highest paid return men in the league, and he performs like it. So you need to make sure that you're protecting that asset.
Mia, look, it's too simplistic to say there's not going to be any competition at the wide receiver spot in training camp. But if you look at the numbers, all right, obviously Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Marvin Jones, and it looks like Laviska Shenault will all be here. That's 4 spots. You mentioned Jamal Agnew. Okay. Laquan Treadwell, they brought him back. Is that it? I mean, are those the 6 guys? Could a guy like Kevin Austin factor in at all? Or is the Haycon in the barn in the wide receiver room?
I'll tell you this. I was so excited for Kevin Austin, and while he has flashed at times, I mean, dude drops the ball at least 4 times a practice. I've jokingly said, therefore, he was born to be a Jaguar. But in all seriousness, if you have Jamal Agnew catching the ball and you have Laquan Treadwell catching the ball, you're really going to take a flyer on this undrafted free agent kid? Maybe he makes your practice squad. I think Luwan Winningham, who was the other priority undrafted free agent rookie, has at least caught the ball. They both are that bigger X receiver, and that is clearly what the Jaguars are lacking outside of Zay Jones, on their roster, and Laquan Treadwell, if you may. So I think you need to stash one or both of them on the practice squad. I'm not sure you're going to be able to do that. Doug Peterson has mentioned Tim Jones, Jeff Cotton, some of those more veteran guys. Marvin Hall is another dude who has also gotten a lot of reps at return man. He's a 4th-year veteran who was signed off the street. He's had some really sure hands in receiver drills. But, yeah, if only in numbers and cents, the 6 that you listed, Hack, that's your 6 right now, unless proven otherwise, unless one of these younger guys or one of these guys off the street comes in and changes the world and sets the world on fire during July and August, which Laquan Treadwell largely did last year. Tavon Austin was signed the 2nd week of camp, and he made the 53-man roster for week 1. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that someone shows up, has grasped the playbook, and makes plays. But at the end of the day, I will say this, in talking to people in the building, that top 3 of Kirk, Zay Jones, Marvin Jones, it's pretty set. That's pretty set. They recognize what they have in Shenault. Agnew's making the team, and so that's 5 right there. And Laquan Treadwell probably makes the team by, A, the fact that he can stretch the field and they don't have a lot of X receivers, and B, that he's friends with Trevor Lawrence, has a great rapport with him, and actually, statistically speaking, ended the season last year on as consistent a note as any wide receiver in the National Football League.
Couple of more from Mia O'Brien. She was out at minicamp this week. You hear her every day on XL Primetime. Mia, you had a conversation with James Robinson. Now that we believe Travis Etienne is 100%, he certainly looks like it out there, all the attention turns to James Robinson. His timetable, we've seen videos of him running around, not necessarily doing drills yet. Keep in mind, he tore the Achilles in week 15 last year. It was about mid-December. How is he doing, and does he have a timetable for when he would like to be back on the field?
Yeah, so if you ask James, he'd like to be on the field tomorrow. It's so funny for a guy who has always been applauded as a patient runner. He told me today, he's like, I'm not that patient as a person. I want to be out there. I want to be working out. But this is a process, and the training staff has continued to reiterate that to him. Just as an undrafted free agent once upon a time, it was a process for him to become a number 1 running back in the National Football League. It's going to be the same exact way with his recovery. He started running about a month ago. It's a good combination right now between weight room strength training and then also being out on the practice field, or I should say on the stadium field, running. James said obviously he would prefer to be doing more running. As much as he enjoys the weight room, he would prefer to be doing a little bit more running. They're going to work him towards that. He said he is expecting to still stay around the area for the next 6 weeks while the team is off. He will be going in every day, working with the training staff, getting treatment, working on his rehab. From what Doug Peterson has said, the expectation is somewhere in the middle of training camp is when he will be cleared and he will be back. What that exactly entails, we're not sure. The next 6 weeks will really be telling in that regards. But from what, we've been told on XL Primetime by, on XL Primetime, we have Dr. George Bari on. So from what he has said, but then also from what James told me, once the Achilles is considered healed, he's good to go. Then it's just a matter of gaining the strength back and gaining the speed back. And so they've told him it's getting close to being completely healed. And so now it's just a matter of getting those reps and, making sure it's as strong as it can be. But, to your point about Travis, like as much as Travis has flashed in t-shirt and shorts right now, he still hasn't seen impact. He hasn't seen a defensive lineman coming at him in over a year. Whereas James Robinson, at least less than a year ago, 6 months ago, was seeing NFL defenses. And so that's where it's going to be really curious to see how many preseason games Travis Etienne plays in. I don't think James Robinson's going to play in any preseason games. I personally do think he'll be ready for week 1. How much they then use him as he also gets assimilated back into the speed of the NFL game is also going to be really curious to see.
Yeah, you wonder if it's going to be kind of a 50-50 deal with Etienne and Robinson. Will we see them on the field together? There's all kinds of possibilities if both guys are healthy and ready to go on Sunday afternoons this fall. Mia, final question. The offseason basically ends at the end of this week when minicamp wraps up. So between the unbelievable coaching search, between the free agent haul, the draft, all the OTAs and the minicamps, you follow the team as close as anyone. How much better are they from when they left the field on January the 9th?
I hate that I just keep using the same word hack, but because it's the ultimate baseline, but it's the truth. They are a functional NFL team, which from what people in the building have told me, told some of our other insiders here at 1010XL, that is a lot further along than they were 7-8 months ago. It apparently, and like, we knew it was bad. From what we are now being told, it was worse than what we were told in the moment. And so for them to get back to that baseline in 6-7 months' time under Doug Peterson is a victory in and of itself. Doug views this as a rebuilding process, kind of like with James having the patience. Doug has a lot of patience. He wants to win. He's made that very clear. He wants to win. But it's not going to happen overnight, knowing how many steps behind they were because of everything that went on last year. And quite frankly, in the years preceding it too. I mean, there's no culture. There's no framework to work with. You are starting from scratch, which as a head coaching candidate like Doug, that's extremely enticing. But for a team that has to now restart, quote unquote, again, there's a lot of mental scars and emotional scars there. And so I think they're at the baseline. If they look like 25 to 26 of the other 32 teams, like, they're not going to be the Chiefs. They're not going to be the Steelers when it comes to culture or consistency. But if they're there with the bulk of the rest of the teams, that is a victory. If they are a 6-7 win team, that is a victory for this squad. Don't forget, Doug Peterson's first year in Philadelphia, I think it was they, started off like 2-6 or something like that, but then they ended the season 7-9, 8-8. If they could do that here, this place will throw a parade. And I think it indicates that, yes, they got the right guy, even with perhaps not having all the pieces that even Doug Peterson would like to surround Trevor Lawrence with. They are moving in the right direction.
All right, Mia, leave us with this. You're one-on-one with Jamal Agnew. You're one-on-one with James Robinson. Where can Jaguar fans go and catch these interviews?
Absolutely. So that one-on-one with Jamal Agnew was actually with Hayes Carlyon, but friendly with Jamal. So I did speak with him, not yesterday, but last week I had spoken with him as well. So you can catch that on our YouTube channel at 1010XL, as well as our Facebook at 1010XL. And yes, my one-on-one with James. And then also I did a one-on-one with Andrew Mevis, which is pronounced Mevis, by the way. We did confirm that. The rookie kicker that the Jaguars signed, who special teams coordinator Heath Farwell said was the priority kicker signing. He was the one kicker that when he started looking back in January or February when he was hired at which rookie kickers they would bring in, this was the guy they said, we're bringing him in to compete for the starting job. And so really great interview with him. You can also check out all of our other social media content. Again, our YouTube channel at 1010XL and our Facebook channel at 1010XL, plus clips and the fun stuff is going on at the Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, again, all at 1010XL.
And you, I, and Graham will have a high school feature coming to social media on 1010XL in the very near future. I'm certainly excited about that as football season is right around the corner. Mia O'Brien every day on XL Primetime. Hey, Mia, thank you for the time. I appreciate it. We'll do it again soon.
Always, Hack. I'm here. You give me a call. I got your back, brother.
Thank you to Mia O'Brien again every day, XL Primetime, for joining us here on Hacker After Dark. NFC North previews this week. We've already been to Detroit. We've already been to Minneapolis. We will go to Green Bay tomorrow. Tonight, we'll head to Chicago. Patrick Finley, the Chicago Sun-Times. What about the Chicago Bears? Where are they in the NFC North? From the outside looking in, it looks like a complete and total rebuild. Is it a complete and total rebuild? We'll talk to Patrick Finley about that coming up next. I do want to tell you, Colorado, a 3-1 lead on Tampa Bay about midway through the second period. Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Patrick Finley, Chicago Sun-Times, next on Hacker After Dark.
Hey, this is former Jaguar Paul Spicer.
Hi, I'm Mark Brunell.
I'm Josh Scobie, and you're listening to 1010XL 92.5 FM.
At Duck Rooter, we understand plumbing issues can be a real inconvenience for your building or business, and we're here to help. We can handle all kinds of plumbing jobs, including broken pipes, clogged drains, line jetting, installing water heaters, and full repipes. Need a camera inspection or a smoke test? Yes, Duck Rooter does that too. Plus, our lift station services include inspections, monitoring, cleaning, and repairs. When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769. That's 904-862-6769.
Here's your 1010XL First Coast Community Calendar.
Your family can host boys and girls from countries around the world, like Germany, Spain, Italy, Poland, Brazil, and Slovakia, to share your heart and home. Call 800-941-3738.
There's a critical need for all blood types. Please consider donating at a local blood donation center.
The learning experience in Nocatee is raising funds for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and the Jacksonville Sharks will donate $5 for every ticket sold. Learn more at jacksharks.com.
City Rescue Mission provides life-changing support for the homeless. Find ways to get involved at crmjax.org.
You can play in the golf tournament benefiting the Derek Hatcher Foundation, combating the disease of addiction, August 13th at Eagle Landing Golf Club. Register at derekhatcherfoundation.org.
If you're involved in a community event and you'd like us to help spread the word, find out how at 1010XL.com.
Are you ready to play this summer? Come check out the Y. The First Coast YMCA is not only your home for health and wellness, it's also a place for the kids to explore, to learn new things, and to expand the limits of their imaginations. At the Y Summer Camp, every day is a new adventure. Kids can learn about STEM, arts and humanities, athletic sports, and outdoor games. Space is limited, and registration is now open. Visit fcymca.org and search for summer camps. See you at the Y.
Imagine if you could sell your house the moment you got your dream job halfway across the country. Open Door makes that a possibility by giving you a competitive offer on your house in a matter of days. Lauren Brooks here for Open Door. New baby, new job, upsizing, downsizing? Well, sell directly to Open Door. When life's doors open, they'll handle the house. With Open Door, you don't have to worry about finding transitional housing or paying a double mortgage. Life is full of opportunities. Selling your house shouldn't keep you from them. Sell directly to Open Door and get back to what matters. Hundreds of thousands of people have already requested their offer. It's so simple. Just go to opendoor.com like I did. Enter in your address, tell them a little bit about your house, and they'll make you an offer in minutes. Open Door offers a competitive, hassle-free sale, so you can focus on what's ahead in life. When life's doors open, Open Door will handle the house. Learn more at opendoor.com/1010. That's opendoor.com/1010. Offer eligibility varies. Open Door is represented by Open Door Brokerage Inc. license 02061130 in California and Open Door Brokerage LLC and its other markets.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. By now, everyone has heard about saving money on their energy bills. There are all sorts of things you can do to cut energy costs, but most people don't think about their windows.
But Window World knows that the biggest energy loss in almost every home is the windows.
There is more energy loss from old builder-grade windows than just about anything else in your home.
You can upgrade your heating and air, your appliances. That's good too. But before you do all that, upgrade your windows to Window World's energy-efficient windows.
Window World's windows are easy to clean, energy efficient, and have the best guarantee in the business.
Window World's slogan is simply the best for less, and we mean it. You get great American-made windows, and you get to keep more of your money when you buy from Window World. Need any more reasons to buy your windows from Window World? Call them today and set up your free in-home estimate, or go online to windowworldneflorida.com. Window World, simply the best for less. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors and siding.
You don't get to be the league's all-time leading rusher without feeling some pain.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith knows joint pain, and he also knows the old treatments aren't the only treatments. Today, there's a natural alternative to drugs and surgery. It's biologic therapies from QC Kinetics.
I'm talking regenerative solutions that encourage your body to heal and repair itself.
Do you have pain in your hips, knees, shoulder, lower back? Want to get your life back? The local medical professionals at QC Kinetics can help.
Call to learn more about this exciting natural way to deal with chronic joint pain.
Don't put it off. Call QC Kinetics. Restorative, regenerative solutions with no downtime and lasting results.
Don't let your joint pain keep you from doing the things you love. There's a new natural solution that patients are raving about.
QC Kinetics.
Make the call to QC Kinetics. Tell them Emmitt Smith sent you.
Call QC Kinetics 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. QC Kinetics 274-5522.
Start your Sunday off with a cup of Joe and some sports medicine intel. This is Joe C. inviting you to join me and Dr. George Bari for Breaking Bones every Sunday morning at 7:30. And if you miss an episode, just look for Breaking Bones wherever you listen to podcasts.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. Now, another interview on the Farah and Farah phone line. Brought to you by the Accident Attorneys at Farah and Farah. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Our NFC North preview continues. We've already been to Detroit. We will go to Green Bay and Minnesota. Tonight, it's all about the Windy City in Chicago. The Chicago Bears have a brand new head coach. The Chicago Bears have a second-year quarterback. Does that sound familiar? Yeah, a little bit like right here in Jacksonville. Let's go to Chicago. Patrick Finley of the Chicago Sun-Times, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Patrick, how we doing?
I'm doing okay. Not only a new head coach, but a head coach that very easily could have been the head coach down there, right?
That's right. Matt Eberflus gets the job in Chicago. Matt, let's start right there, Patrick, with Coach Eberflus. He interviewed here. I think he interviewed here twice, come to think of it. Obviously was certainly in consideration. Ultimately lands in Chicago. What have you thought of him, his first 4 or 5 months on the job?
Well, it was really against the grain hire. Defensive coordinators have not been the most targeted people in head coaching searches. And he beat out Dan Quinn, and he beat out Jim Caldwell, both of which had head coaching experience. I was a little surprised, actually, that they went with him. He has been fine this offseason. He's a football guy. The things he preaches, the principles of his, are very much, hustle and hitting hard and football guy stuff. I don't know if he can restore, I want to say restore the Bears defense, but, the Bears defense hasn't been the problem the last couple of years. The real question is whether he can run a team that has a functioning offense. And because of that, he's going to have to rely on Luke Getsy, who is the Packers quarterbacks coach. The last couple of years, he's the new offensive coordinator here. And, I venture to say he's just as important as Matt Eberflus is.
Patrick, outside point of view, I want to get to this year's team, but you look at Allen Robinson leaving in free agency, the trading of Khalil Mack. It appears, and correct me if I'm wrong, the thought at least outside that locker room is it's full rebuild in Chicago. Is that accurate, or is there issues with that in your opinion?
No, that's absolutely accurate. Now the NFL is different from baseball in that you still need players to try hard and the roster that you have, you can't sit there and say, hey, we're not going to try to win. But the way that they're structured right now is they're eating a lot of money in dead cap space this season, including Khalil Mack, who they traded to the Chargers. But next year, they have their first-round draft pick, which they did not have this year. And next year, they have the most cap space in the NFL as of right this moment. So the target is for 2023. I think there's a reason that you didn't see the Bears go out and get any sexy free agents this offseason. And part of that is, they want to see what they've got before they make evaluations. But really, they know that they'd rather spend that money next season when they have a better chance to compete.
Patrick Fenley of the Chicago Sun-Times here with us on 1010XL Radio in Jacksonville. Patrick, Trevor Lawrence down here coming into year 2. Jaguar fans are hoping for a much better year now that the Urban Meyer nonsense is out and Doug Peterson has arrived. Up in Chicago, Justin Fields heading into year number 2, and likewise, he has a brand new head coach. Nagy is out, Eberflus is in. What is the thought on Justin Fields heading into 2022?
Well, the first thought is, what you just brought up isn't particularly surprising. I think we've all gone back and counted in the last, 10 or 15 years, how many of those first round pick quarterbacks end up playing for a different head coach in year 2. And it's a lot of them. And part of that is you're not getting that pick unless your team stinks. And, the Bears and Jaguars obviously weren't very good last year. The hope for Fields is that, he only played 10 games last year. He was limited by injuries and by COVID and by the Bears foolishly deciding to start the season with Andy Dalton. And the hope is that giving him a full offseason of starters reps and working in an offense that's got some play action, it's got some outside zone runs, and it's got some deep shots, that fits him better than what Matt Nagy wanted to do. From the outside world, I don't know that the outside world appreciates what a circus it was here last year. Andy Dalton, took all the starter snaps, throughout the offseason, throughout training camp, and then, until, the second week of the season when he got hurt. The Bears never set up Justin Fields to be good in 2022. They were thinking he'd be the starter in 2023. 2021 and 2022. So he didn't get a great shot last year, and the hope now is that the change in leadership gives him a much better opportunity to be the quarterback that he's been his whole life. I mean, he's been right there with Trevor Lawrence, since they were 12 years old. Like Jaguars fans, Bears fans hope that, he rises to the occasion this year.
Watching Justin Fields last year, Patrick, I saw some good things, but the guy didn't have time because that offensive line was just horrific, and that might be an understatement. I mean, what, if anything, have they done to try to correct that problem this offseason?
Well, they brought in Lucas Patrick. He was the center in Green Bay, and he's going to be the center here. That works for a lot of reasons, the least of which being that he knows the scheme and he can help implement the scheme. Their tackles right now, if the season were to start today, they're both rookies. They're one rookie and 2 second-year players, whether it's Tevin Jenkins, who was their second-round pick out of Oklahoma State 2 years ago, Larry Borum, who was a mid-round pick out of Missouri. Neither of those guys have proven that they can do this consistently at the NFL level. I wouldn't be surprised, as much as we talk about the Bears playing for 2023, I wouldn't be surprised if they go pick up a veteran offensive lineman. At some point, there's always a surprise cut or two in August, and I think that they might be players for a veteran who knows he can get playing time here and who might be able to stabilize things.
Couple of more for Patrick Fenley of the Chicago Sun-Times as our NFC North preview takes us to the Windy City tonight to look back on the Chicago Bears offseason. An offseason included signing a former Jaguar, one of our favorites here on 1010XL. James O'Shaughnessy leaves Jacksonville to head to Chicago. Patrick, I'm sure you haven't been asked about James O'Shaughnessy in any other interview you've done this offseason, but we love him. What are his prospects in Chicago this year?
Yeah, that's a new one. I think pretty good to make the team, in part because Cole Kmet is the only real locked-in player at that position right now. Kmet's a third-year player out of Notre Dame. They really like what they have in him, but now they need to see him produce. Jimmy Graham, who was with the Bears the last 2 years, is not here anymore. Jesper Horsted, the guy who they cut, who'd caught some passes for them. So it's a pretty shallow room, and I expect O'Shaughnessy to be able to contribute. And this is no shot at him. I think he's the kind of player that they need to get through a season that could be ugly, because, O'Shaughnessy, I'm going to venture to say, has probably been through an ugly season or two.
Poor O'Shaughnessy. Looks like Jacksonville might be turning the corner. He leaves here and now heads to Chicago, where it looks like they are maybe where Jacksonville has been the last couple of years. I speak for all David Montgomery fantasy owners, Patrick, that he is the most frustrating guy in fantasy football. Some weekends he's dynamic. Some weekends they do not give him the football. I know it's a contract year for David Montgomery. What are your expectations for him? Because when he's on, he appears to be one of the better running backs in the league.
Well, I don't know whether Luke Getsy is going to – I don't know how much he's going to run the ball, but it would be almost impossible for him to run the ball less than Matt Nagy ran the ball during Montgomery's career here. Nagy liked throwing, and he liked throwing a lot. And that didn't always benefit Montgomery, even though Montgomery's a pretty good pass catcher, as you know. So I think his carries will go up. I think when you look at Khalil Herbert, he filled in for Montgomery last year and did a pretty good job of that. So, the same way that Green Bay last year leaned on, kind of a 1A and 1B running back, or at least a 1 and a 2A running back, I think that's what the Bears are going to do here. In terms of the contract year, I think that'll motivate Montgomery. I don't know how much the Bears will be motivated to get a new deal done. Ryan Poles, the new general manager here, comes from the Chiefs, and the Chiefs haven't exactly been known to overpay for running backs on the free agent market, or even in renewing their own guys.
Patrick, we certainly have a lot of Georgia Bulldog fans that listen to us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Roquan Smith was a beast in college. He goes to the NFL, and he is just a beast there in Chicago now. And now I guess he's the guy, right? Without Khalil Mack, it's clearly his show. Is that the plan, to build around Roquan Smith on that defense?
Yeah, I'd be shocked if he didn't get a contract extension between now and week 1 on September 11th. I think he is going to be one of the great Bears linebackers, and that is something I don't say lightly. I think he is built, and I remember somebody told me this when he got drafted, but you really have to watch him every day to see it. The way he can go side to side, and the way he can play in coverage is just perfect for the modern game. I don't know how much it would have been needed 20 years ago. But now, if you're going to stop the modern passing attack, you need somebody like Roquan Smith. He is going to be the centerpiece of this defense, the same way that Darius Leonard was the centerpiece of Matt Eberflus's defense the last couple of years in Indianapolis. And I suspect that he will be a very, very rich man before he has to take any sort of violent hit this season.
Patrick, when you look at the division, look, Aaron Rodgers is back, now he loses Devontae Adams, but whenever Aaron Rodgers is there, you're probably going to pick them to win the division. We'll see about Minnesota. They have a brand new head coach. Certainly it looks like they have a lot of talent on that offense, although it might be getting a little up there in age. And I think Chicago and Detroit are really the two question marks. Realistically, you cover the team as close as anybody. What are the expectations for Chicago when it comes to the NFC North?
To finish third is my guess, and that's only because the Lions have a well-deserved reputation for being a mess. Their new head coach is exciting, and I understand that the Lions really did put up a fight last year, particularly in the second half of the season. But I think Bears fans think that, oh well, shoot, we can't be worse than the Lions, right? So probably third. You've got the Vikings second. Tell you what, if the Vikings can get their draft pick receiver healthy, in the second half of the season, man, I would not want to go up against that receiving corps. And then the Packers have Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is I might be showing my age. He's the best player I've ever seen in person in my life. And betting against him is foolish. And you can imagine that whatever motivation he had last year, I'm sure he will come up with a new reason to be motivated this season. Maybe it won't be the money. Maybe it'll be proving to the world that he didn't need Devontae Adams. And because of that, I think you've always got to take the Packers until they prove you wrong.
Final moments here with Patrick Fenley of the Chicago Sun-Times. Patrick, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. Chicago, one of the great sports towns, an unbelievably passionate fan base. Are they going to be cool with a rebuild? Will they give Eberflus time? Or if they really struggle this year, will people be upset?
I think they'll be upset, but remember, a lot of Bears fans here are Cubs fans too, and maybe the example, the Astros and the Cubs are the examples. Maybe in modern sports of when you do the tear down the right way, you really have an opportunity to build something great and something somewhat lasting. Now, the Cubs didn't last as long as maybe we thought they would have when they won the World Series in 2016. But fans here do have experience with rebuilds working. Because of that, I think the Bears probably get a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. But, people pay a lot of money for these tickets, and they don't want to go watch them get their heads kicked in on Sundays. I'm afraid that that'll happen a lot this season. But I'll tell you this, if Justin Fields is good, and if he shows signs of improvement from week to week to week, and if he's as exciting as I think he could be, particularly with his legs, I think Bears fans might be able to tolerate the losing, if Fields looks like he's the answer. If Fields is bad and the team is bad, oh man, I don't know what they're going to say. Because keep in mind, if the Bears stink this year and end up with a top 5 pick, what's to stop them from drafting a quarterback if they decide that they don't like Fields?
Ooh.
Now, I think
that would be something.
I think Fields has the opportunity to be a wonderful player. I think he has loud tools that are really hard to find, and I would not give up on Justin Fields, and I don't think the Bears would either. But if this turns into a circus, Ryan Poles, would have an opportunity to look at quarterbacks if he wanted to at the end of the season.
All right, Patrick, final question. Leave us with this. I'm not expecting a thorough breakdown. The Jaguars spent $250 million in free agency this offseason. They were signing everybody. And after the waters cooled, about 2 weeks later, they signed a guy named Xavier Crawford from Chicago. And the reason I bring him up is he's actually done a couple of things in OTAs. Was there any sign that, he was a good player in Chicago? Do you think he has the potential to be a good player in this league?
Yeah, I think he could be solid. I think size-wise, I don't think he's the perfect size at that position. But you're right. Even in our OTAs and even in our practices, I thought he looked pretty good. It's good to see him get an opportunity. Now, keep in mind, last year the Bears were desperate for corner help and defensive back help in general. So I don't know with Crawford if there was an opportunity missed or if they saw something they didn't like. But if you're seeing something good down there, that jives with what we've seen out of him up here.
Patrick Finley of the Chicago Sun-Times. Patrick, enjoyed the conversation, my friend. Thank you. We'll do it again soon.
Sounds great.
Oh, there you go. Patrick Finley of the Chicago Sun-Times. Look, I think the Chicago Bears are in a very similar situation to what Jacksonville has been in. Hopefully Jacksonville's beginning to crawl their way out a little bit, but it's going to probably be a long year in Chicago. You trade off Khalil Mack. You let Allen Robinson go in free agency. You're bringing in a new head coach. You had to replenish the entire offensive line, basically. So it looks like a rebuild in Chicago. We will see, and how patient those Bears fans will be with Matt Eberflus will be an interesting story as Chicago looks to get back in it in the next couple of years in the NFC North. We've been to Detroit. We've been to Minneapolis. We've now been to Chicago. We will end it tomorrow night in Green Bay and cap off our NFC North preview. That'll just about do it for this edition of Hacker After Dark here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Again, thank you to Patrick Finley of the Chicago Sun-Times. Thank you to Mia O'Brien. Of course, you get her every day right here on XL Primetime on 1010XL. And, of course, Theatric Faison, the former Florida Gator running back, the former star Fletcher Senator running back, and now he's the head coach of his alma mater out there at the beach. Theatric had a lot of interesting things to say about his alma mater in Gainesville when it comes to the Florida Gators, and he certainly likes the direction that Billy Napier has things going. We'll be back to do it all over again tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight, and, of course, I'm the hacker Ryan Green. Jacksonville, thank you for hanging out with us on a Wednesday night here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. For all of us on Hacker After Dark, have an absolutely terrific remainder of your Wednesday evening, and we will talk to you tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Until then, good night, everybody.
Are you tired of giving Dad the same old blah, boring gift for Father's Day? Not this year. Shooters' annual Father's Day sales event is here all week, June 13th to the 19th. And Shooters can make Dad's special day, well, special. Forget ties, shirts, socks, and belts. This year, Dad's Day can be exciting, not blah. Gifts from Shooters' annual Father's Day sale let you show Dad the love he deserves, while you save on the things he really wants. So turn up into a yippee! You can see the largest selection of top-name firearms and accessories, all at the lowest prices at Shooters all week long. It only comes once a year, a special day for a special guy. Shooters makes it easy to find what Dad wants. Over 7,000 firearms in stock and the greatest accessories you can find anywhere. A Father's Day to remember starts at Shooters at the intersection of University Boulevard and Phillips Highway, and more at shootersjacks.com.
5X480. Dayton B100 V-Belt, one of the many parts Grainger carries. It's also the item that helped Rob carry the day. The job was on hold, deadline fast approaching. But a quick search on Grainger.com and Rob found his part. And with same-day pickup at his local branch, he and his crew got the job done, safely and on time. Get supplies and solutions for every industry with real-time product availability. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The new way to sell your home with multiple cash offers, go to highestprice.com. If you want to sell your home fast and for top dollar, enter your address and you'll receive multiple cash offers in less than 24 hours. No showings, no obligation at highestprice.com. Highestprice.com.
Hey, it's Jeff Prosser. Are you feeling the sting of higher interest rates and higher costs? All those credit cards and other loans are costing more and more every month. Inflation making everything else more expensive. But listen, your home can save you right now. Your home value is up, and there's a ton of cash in it that you can access with Loan Pronto. Loan Pronto specializes in zero-cost cash-out home refis. That means you can get tens of thousands in as little as 2 weeks. Pay off all those 23% rate credit cards and other loans. Consolidate everything into one super low payment. People who do this usually cut $800 or more from their monthly budget, and even if your home mortgage rate goes up a point or so, it's offset by your credit card rate going to zero. Call Loan Pronto now. Unlock that equity and wipe out bad debt. Do it now, and you can even skip your next 2 house payments altogether. So call 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
WJXL AM, WJXL FM, Jacksonville Beach, 1010XL. 10XL.
Are you a military spouse or know a military spouse who may be underemployed, unemployed, or looking to get back into the workforce? Operation New Uniforms Professional Development Training Program is here to help. ONU offers an in-person and virtual classes free of charge for military spouses. Class starts on June 7th and runs through July 14th on Tuesday and Thursday nights. For more information, contact Operation New Uniform at info@onuvets.org.
June is Men's Health Awareness Month. Are you aware that 1 in 23 men will develop colon cancer? Dan Hicken here for the Borland Groover Foundation for Research and Education. Remember to protect your end zone. If you're over 45, ask your doctor about a colonoscopy.